And what I'm about to share with you in the next few minutes is the part that almost nobody explains, even to people who think they are already doing everything right. My name is Dr. Joseph, and I've spent more than 20 years working with patients dealing with metabolic conditions, blood sugar issues, and symptoms that most doctors simply call a normal part of aging. I can tell you right now that what you are about to learn is not common knowledge. Most physicians will never explain this to you the way I'm going to explain it today. So if you have ever wondered why you feel sharp in the morning and completely drained by early afternoon, if you have ever eaten what seemed like a perfectly healthy meal and found yourself desperate for a nap 20 minutes later, or if your body simply does not feel the way it used to a few years ago, then you are in exactly the right place. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will understand something that could genuinely change the way your body feels every single day. Before we go further, I want you to do one small thing right now. If what I just described sounds familiar to you, drop a yes in the comments below. It takes 2 seconds, and I promise you will be surprised by how many people are living with the exact same experience without understanding why. Now, let me ask you something important. Think back a few years, not so long ago, when you could sit down, eat a full meal, stand up, and keep moving. You felt clear, you felt like yourself. Energy was not something you had to think about. It was simply there. Now, that same kind of meal, maybe even a healthier one than you used to eat, feels different. You feel slower, foggy, maybe a little irritable. You might even feel hungry again within an hour or two, which makes no sense because you just ate. And at night, you are exhausted, but your sleep still is not great. You wake up tired and the cycle starts again. Nothing dramatic happened, no major turning point, it just quietly settled in over time. Here is what most people do at this stage. They cut sugar, they try to eat cleaner, maybe they add more exercise. And for some people, those changes help a little. But for many people, nothing really changes. The energy is still inconsistent, the brain fog is still there, the post-meal crash keeps happening. And that is incredibly frustrating because you are doing what you are supposed to do and you still do not feel better. Here is the part nobody tells you. The reason those changes are sometimes not enough is that the problem is not only about what you eat. It goes deeper than that. It is about how your cells respond to the signals your body sends them. And that is a completely different conversation. If you are finding this valuable and you want to keep learning how to support your body naturally, this is the right channel for you. Subscribe right now and hit the bell so you never miss what Dr. Joseph shares next. Because what is coming in the next few minutes is exactly where things start to get powerful. Let me explain what is actually happening inside your body. Your body runs on glucose, which is the fuel your cells use to produce energy. When you eat, your digestive system breaks food down into glucose, which enters your bloodstream. Your pancreas detects that blood sugar rise and releases a hormone called insulin. Insulin acts like a key. It goes to the doors of your cells, unlocks them, and lets glucose enter. Your cells use that glucose for energy, blood sugar comes back down, you feel good. That is how it is supposed to work. But here is what happens over time. Those locks, the receptors on your cells that respond to insulin, begin to lose their sensitivity. Think of it like a lock that has been used thousands of times and starts to stiffen and wear down. The key is still there. Insulin still arrives and tries to do its job, but the door does not open the way it should. So what happens next? Your pancreas tries to compensate by pumping out more and more insulin, but the cells do not respond correctly. Glucose stays in your bloodstream longer than it should. Your energy feels unstable because your cells are not getting the fuel they need efficiently. And your body starts storing more of that excess glucose as fat. This is called insulin resistance, and it is not rare. It is incredibly common. Many health experts estimate that a significant proportion of adults have some degree of insulin resistance and do not know it because the early symptoms are not dramatic. They feel like normal fatigue, like aging, like life that is just a little harder than it used to be. But here is what I need you to understand clearly. This is not inevitable. This is not your body aging the way it is supposed to. This is a specific biological process that can be measured, addressed, and in many cases, significantly improved. Your body is not broken, it is responding to conditions. And when you change those conditions, your body responds differently. Now, several of the factors that drive insulin resistance can be influenced through daily habits and specific natural compounds that have been studied extensively in published research. And this is exactly what we are here for today. I want to walk you through 6 specific natural spices, compounds you can find at any grocery store that have been studied for their effects on insulin sensitivity and blood sugar regulation. I will explain how each one works inside your body, how to use them correctly, and what the research actually says. I will also show you how combining specific spices together creates an effect that is significantly more powerful than any single one alone. And for most people, that combination is where real change begins to happen. Starting with number 6, fenugreek. Fenugreek seeds contain a type of soluble fiber and plant compounds that slow down the absorption of carbohydrates in your digestive system. When you eat a meal that contains carbohydrates, those carbs normally break down into glucose and enter your bloodstream. The speed at which that happens is critically important. A rapid blood sugar spike triggers a large insulin response. A slower, more gradual rise is much easier for your body to manage. Fenugreek essentially puts a gentle brake on that process, leading to a more gradual blood sugar rise after meals. Studies examining fenugreek in people with blood sugar concerns have shown improvements in post-meal glucose levels with consistent daily use. The most common mistake people make with fenugreek is taking it sporadically. Consistency is everything with this one. Number 5, ginger. Your muscle tissue is one of the largest consumers of glucose in your entire body. When you move, your muscles burn glucose as fuel. But in people with insulin resistance, muscle cells do not absorb glucose as efficiently. Ginger contains active compounds called gingerols and shogals that appear to improve the ability of muscle cells to absorb glucose, sometimes through pathways that do not even require insulin as an intermediary. Clinical studies in humans have shown significant improvements in fasting blood sugar levels with regular ginger supplementation. The most common mistake people make with ginger is using too little. You need consistent and meaningful amounts, roughly half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of powder daily. Number 4, cinnamon. Compounds in cinnamon, particularly cinnamaldehyde and certain polyphenols, appear to interact directly with insulin receptors on your cells. Remember those locks that can become stiff and resistant over time. Cinnamon seems to help with the sensitivity of those locks. Research suggests it mimics certain actions of insulin itself and helps improve how the insulin receptor responds when insulin arrives. For the same amount of insulin your body produces, you may get a better cellular response. One important distinction, there are 2 main types of cinnamon: Ceylon cinnamon and cassia cinnamon. Ceylon is the safer choice for daily supplementation, as cassia contains higher levels of a compound called coumarin, which in large amounts can affect the liver. Look for Ceylon cinnamon specifically when purchasing for health purposes. The research typically examines 1 to 3 grams per day, which is roughly half a teaspoon to just under a teaspoon. Number 3, turmeric. The main active compound in turmeric is called curcumin. Curcumin is one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory compounds ever identified. And here is why that matters specifically for insulin resistance. When your body is in a state of constant subtle inflammation, the signaling pathways that allow your cells to respond to insulin are disrupted. Inflammation literally interferes with how your cells communicate. Curcumin targets several inflammatory pathways in the body and has been shown in numerous studies to reduce key markers of inflammation. When inflammation decreases, cellular communication improves. Insulin signaling becomes clearer, and the entire system begins to function more efficiently. Number 2, black pepper. Specifically, a compound in black pepper called piperine. Piperine does something remarkable. When consumed alongside curcumin, piperine dramatically increases the absorption of curcumin by your body. Studies have shown that piperine can increase the bioavailability of curcumin by a very significant margin. If you are taking turmeric without black pepper, you are leaving most of the benefit behind. This is not a small difference. It is the difference between something working and something not working at all. A small pinch of black pepper alongside your turmeric is all it takes. You should never take turmeric for health purposes without black pepper. That is the single most important practical point to remember about these two compounds. And number one is not a single spice. It is the combination. Turmeric with black pepper addresses the inflammation that interferes with your cell's ability to respond to insulin. Cinnamon works at the level of the insulin receptor itself, improving the sensitivity of those locks so the door actually opens more efficiently. Ginger works at the muscle level, helping your muscle cells absorb glucose more effectively, pulling glucose out of the bloodstream and into the cells where it belongs. And fenugreek slows carbohydrate absorption from meals, reducing the initial spike that sets the entire cascade in motion. Here is the simple daily protocol. Each morning, before or with breakfast, add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a quarter to half a teaspoon of ginger powder, and a small pinch of black pepper to a cup of warm water. Stir well and drink. That is it. The most important factor is consistency. Aim for at least 30 days of daily use before judging whether this is working for you. 60 days is even better. Give your body the time it needs to respond. What most people notice first is a change in how they feel after meals. That heavy, foggy feeling, that pull toward the couch after lunch begins to lift. Energy after meals becomes more stable. The mid-afternoon crash becomes less severe. Mental clarity gradually improves as blood sugar patterns stabilize. These results are not guaranteed for everyone. Every body is different. But these compounds have real scientific evidence behind them, and for many people used consistently, they make a meaningful difference. They work best alongside reasonable nutrition choices, regular movement, adequate sleep, and stress management. These spices are a powerful tool. But your body deserves the full approach. Your body is not failing you. It is responding to conditions. Change the conditions, and your body will respond differently. That is not a theory. That is biology. And it is available to you starting today.